Well, this is the real cool thing about directing a show. I don't have to memorize my lines. So I just want to make sure I don't miss anything when I do this. First off, thank you, all of you, for coming on out here to the show. It's great with community theater to have people like you that enjoy the show. And in fact, I do want to let you guys know that next month, Cindy Walker's going to be putting on a production of Little Women. Make sure you come on out to that as well. But, and in fact, the gal that plays Alma is playing Joe in Little Women. And we got some other Little Women people out here tonight too. So, right, let's see here. First off, I'm going to give the old, you know, the etiquette thing. Cell phones, if you got them, shut them off, put them on silent. It's just kind of a courtesy thing to make sure that you're not playing with it while the show's going on. And also, flash photography is not allowed. So that's one of those things that kind of distracts the actors as well. So we just want to make sure this is a very enjoyable experience for everyone involved here. My name's David, and I got the honor of directing this wacky bunch. We're with a group called Silverstein Players. This is our 4th show, and this one is actually benefiting the Marysville Food Pantry. I was talking to Keith the other day over there. She's going to be at our Sunday performance, but she's really excited to have us partner together with them to be able to do this fundraiser. The show's going to be done in 3 acts, and between the first and the second act, we are going to have a little bit of an intermission. So it will have, out in the south lobby by the parking lot here, we've got cookies from Der Dutchman, and we've also got water, and it's all available to you for any type of contribution that you'd like to give towards the Marysville Food Pantry. Oh, let's see, what else we got here? About Silverstein Players. Well, I think our little tagline pretty much says it all. We are basically about bringing the joy of theater to the community while giving back to the community. I'm sure you may have saw up there, we've got a 2016 season that's going to be coming up. We're going to do 2 shows. If you'd like to partner up with us and help us with it, a lot of people don't realize it takes a lot of money to put on these shows. You got to pay for the rental of this place, and you got to pay for rights for shows and everything. So if you do want to get involved with us, check out silversteinplayers.com. There's all sorts of fun ways. We even got a shop on there if you want to buy some of our previous show t-shirts. You can do that as well. Let's see here. We do have a planning meeting that's going to be happening up in a few weeks, talking about our 2016 season. We're even planning on doing a musical, which this is going to be pretty big for us. The great thing about theater in this community, we've got the summer theater workshop for the little kids, and then we've got encore for the older kids, and for us much older kids, we've got a group like this that's really fun. So by all means, if you guys have any thoughts or suggestions of what you'd like to see us do, get on the website as well. Email us at info@silversteinplayers.com. We'll take whatever suggestions you got, and we'll see what we can make work. Let's see here. Thank you to everyone who's helped make this show possible. I don't know if you guys have your programs. You look on the back side of them. There's a whole list of people that have actually contributed financially and with physical things to help us with this show. It's amazing how challenging it can be to find something like a big cast iron potbelly stove, and yet we had the wonderful Haynes family down here that was able to give that to us, which was great. It really added to the scene. So, but yeah, definitely check out the backside of it. Everything from the cookies and the water was donated, which is great as well. Yeah, let's see. Also, thank you to this crew. We got Scott Thomas, who's out here tonight, who helped with the set design. Kathy Schrader, who's done the costuming. Everyone that's been involved with it. We got James up there in the sound, and Jim's been helping out there, and he's even on the video camera tonight. This is great. We got Nancy back there stage managing. We got Adam, who's wanting to direct a show, but he's also assistant stage managing. He's the guy that's helping the curtains, so if anything messes up, you can blame him. He's gonna love that. Let's see, beyond that, the, besides the crew, there's one I want to recognize right now, and it's this guy that's going to be playing drums with us tonight. Mike, why don't you go ahead and stand up for a moment here. This guy, I actually brought the script to him back in early summer, and he read through the script, and he was like, and then he went through it again, and he realized, wait, this is a show I want to get partnered up with, and this is awesome. He's been on it every step of the way. I really thank God for this guy. He's definitely everything that, it's like he says the things that I'm thinking before I even say it and make it happen. So thank you to Mike. Give him a round of applause. And then the wonderful cast that we have for this show. We had some great talent come out to audition for this show, and it was tough. It was tough, but I tell you, without a doubt, and I was telling these guys backstage, this is the cast for the show. I couldn't imagine anyone else doing this show. So these guys have been great. We just got done last night with our 23rd rehearsal. You multiply by 2.5 hours, average per rehearsal, and then on top of that, all the time that they spend learning lines. Believe me, I know, it's a lot of work. So the thing is, when you see them come out on stage, applaud, laugh, really give them your energy too, because they definitely love it when they have that up here. Okay, so what can I tell you about Bus Stop? Have you ever gone on a vacation as a kid and then you went and revisited the place when you're older, and suddenly you realized, wow, this place is a lot cooler than I remember? That place was Newport, Rhode Island for me. I was probably about 8 years old at the time when I went there with my family. And then I went there again probably several years ago, and it was just beautiful. We had this bay. I would go out every morning with a cup of coffee and the newspaper, sit out by the bay and just enjoy. And I'm like, wow, I did not appreciate this as a kid. Bus Stop is kind of that same way for me. I saw this for the first time when I was about my stepson's age. Jake's 12 years old right now. And I remember watching the show, and I was completely mesmerized by the characters. Like, wow, this is really cool. Look at what these guys are doing. I was blown away by them. But I realize as I'm older the beautiful story that's behind it. You have these group of weary travelers that are on a bus, and they're in the middle of this snowstorm, and they're forced to be held up at a diner. And during the course of that time, they realize, well, wait a second, is this what is the right thing I'm doing? And I realize that it's kind of symbolic of life as we go through the storms of life, and how every once in a while we have to stop and we have to take a look at our lives and see what it is that we're doing. Having gone through a lot of those bus stops in my own life, I have such a love and a passion for the show, and I'm excited to have directed this, and I'm excited that we're here on opening night. The thing, earlier playwrights like William Shakespeare, Noel Coward, Oscar Wilde, when they would write to challenge the mindset of the society as a whole at that time period. And William Inge did the same thing with this. This came out in 1955. It was nominated for 4 Tony Awards. And the beautiful thing about it is he challenged the mindset that men had towards women in the 50s. And then also, he challenged the overall concept that we had of what love was, what love really is. So this show, as you can see, I am definitely passionate about this show. I'm going to wrap up with this one last thought. Thomas Merton wrote, "The beginning of love is to let those we love perfectly be themselves. The resolution to not twist them into our own image. If in loving them, we do not love what they are, but only the potential likeness to ourselves, then we do not love them. We only love the reflection of ourselves that we find in them." Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bus Stop.
that wind. March is coming in like a lion. Oh, Grace, you should come over here, see the way the wind's blowing things around town.
I wonder why I can't get the operator.
I bet the bus will be late.
I'll bet it won't. Roads are okay as far as here. It's ahead they're having trouble. I can't even get the operator. She must have more calls than she can handle.
Well, I bet the bus won't have many passengers.
Probably not, but we gotta stay open even if there's only one.
I shouldn't think anyone would travel on a night like this.
Are your folks gonna worry, Alma?
Oh, no. Daddy said he figured this had happened before I left.
Well, you better come back here and help me. The bus will be here any minute, and we gotta have things ready.
Nights like this, I'm glad I got a home to go to.
Well, I got a home to go to, but there ain't anyone in it.
Where's your husband now, Grace?
How should I know?
Don't you miss him?
No.
Well, if he came walking in right now, wouldn't you be glad to see him?
You ask more questions.
I'm just curious about things, Grace.
Well, kids your age are. I don't know. I'd be happy to see him, I guess, if I knew he wasn't going to stay very long.
Don't you get lonesome when you're not down here working?
Well, sure I do. If I didn't have this restaurant to keep me busy, I'd probably go nuts. Sometimes at night after I empty the garbage and lock the doors and turn out the lights, I get kind of a sick feeling because I sure don't look forward to walking up them stairs and letting myself into an empty apartment.
Well, gee, if you feel like that, why don't you write your husband and tell him to come back?
Because I got just as lonesome when he was here. He wasn't much company, except when we was making love. But making love is one thing, and being lonesome is another. The rest of the time, me and Barton was usually fighting.
Well, I guess my folks get along all right. I mean, they really seem to like each other.
Oh, I know all married people aren't like Barton and I. Not all. Now, I wonder if I can get that operator. Quiet as a tomb.
I like working here with you, Grace.
Do you, honey? I'm glad, because I don't know what I'd do without you. Weekends especially.
But you know, I dreaded the job at first.
What? Thought you wouldn't have enough time for all your boyfriends. You probably have more boyfriends if you didn't make such good grades. Boys feel kind of embarrassed if they think a girl is smarter than they are.
Well, what should I do? Flunk my courses?
I should say not. You're a good kid and you got good sense. I wish someone could have reasoned with me when I was your age. But I was a headstrong brat. Had to have my own way. Well, I got my own way, all right. And here I am now, a grass widow running a restaurant. I'll probably die in this little town, and they'll bury me out by the back house.
You girls been able to use your phone?
No, Will, the operator don't answer.
That means all the lines are down.
Oh.
About time for the Topeka bus, ain't it?
Do now.
Well, you're gonna have to hold them here. Maybe all night getting it cleared.
Oh.
They got the highway crews out working on it. It's gonna be horrible getting it. It's all messed up between here and Topeka.
I was afraid of that.
Yeah. March is coming in like a lion, all right.
Yeah.
Got any fresh coffee?
Just went through, Will. Fresh as you could want it.
Oh, station house is cold. You know, storms like this make me mad. Well, they do. They make me mad. It's like all the elements have lost their reason.
Nothing you can do about a wind like that.
Well, maybe it's just because I'm a chef, but I like to see things in order.
Let the wind blow. I just pray to God to leave a roof over my head. It's about all a person can do.
It is.
Better fill up some water glasses, Selma. Now, the donuts are left over from yesterday, but it'll be all right to serve them. We got everything for sandwiches with cheese. We got no cheese.
You never got cheese, Grace.
Well, I guess I'm kind of self-centered, Will. I don't care for cheese myself, so I never think to order it for someone else.
Gee, I'm glad I ain't traveling on that bus tonight.
Wonder who's driving tonight? This is Carl's night, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes, it is. Now remember, honey, I always serve coffee.
Sure, Grace.
Is there some place I can hide?
What?
There's a man on that bus. I want to hide.
Well, gee, I don't know.
I'll hide in the powder room. If a tall, lanky cowboy comes in here, you can tell him I disappeared.
Wait, you can't hide out there. It's cold. You'll freeze your ears off.
It's outside.
This is just a country town.
I can stand anything for 20 minutes.
I got news for you. The bus may be here all night. The roads are blocked. You're gonna have to stay here till it's cleared.
Criminy. What am I gonna do?
I better go tell Carl about the delay.
What am I gonna do? What am I ever gonna do?
There's a little hotel down the street.
What do you take me for, a millionaire?
What's the trouble, miss?
You a policeman?
I am the local sheriff.
But everyone likes him. Really?
Well, I ain't looking to have no one arrested.
Who says I'm going to arrest anybody? What's your trouble?
I need protection.
What from?
There's a man after me. He's a cowboy.
Where is he?
He's on the bus asleep, him and his buddy. I jumped off the bus the very second it stopped to make my getaway, but there ain't no place for me to get away to. And he'll be in here pretty soon. You just gotta make him leave me alone.
Did you meet him on the bus?
No, I met him in Kansas City. I worked at the Blue Dragon nightclub there down by the stockyards. He come with the annual rodeo, and him and the rest of the cowboys was at the nightclub every night. Every night there was a big fight. The boss says he ain't gonna let the cowboys in when they come back next year.
So he followed you on the bus.
He put me on the bus. I'm being abducted.
Abducted? But you took time to pack a suitcase.
I was going someplace else trying to get away from him, but he picked me up and he carried me to the bus and he put me on it. I didn't have nothing to say about it at all.
Where's he planning on taking you?
He says he's got a ranch up in Montana. He says we're gonna get married as soon as we get there.
And you're against it.
I don't want to go to some godforsaken ranch in Montana.
Well, if he's really taking you against your will, I reckon I'll have to put a stop to it.
You just don't know this cowboy. He's mean.
I reckon I can handle it. Don't worry, miss. I'll be around most of the night. If there's any trouble, I'll put a stop to it. Don't you worry.
You're safe with Will here. He's very respected, and he's never lost a fight.
Hell, of course I lost a fight. Once.
But Grace always said that you were invincible.
Oh, there ain't no man that's invincible. Man's got to learn that sooner better than later. But, you have to lose a fight just to know what it is to be the difference between a fighter and a bully.
There's gonna be trouble. I can feel it in my bones.
Ah, this castle hath a pleasant seat.
Can I hide my suitcase behind the counter so he won't seize it when he comes in? I ain't gonna say nothing at all to him about not going to Montana with him. I'm just gonna let him think I'm going till the bus pulls away and he sees I ain't on it. That's the only thing I know to do.
Oh, you needn't worry with Will here.
You think so? He looks kind of like Moses, don't he?
Would you believe it? He's a very religious man. He's a deacon at the Congregational Church.
My folks was holy rollers. Would you give me a cup of coffee, please? Lots of cream.
Howdy, Carl.
Howdy.
You bring this wind?
No, it brought me.
Aren't you the comedian?
Worried about the roads? They're all clogged up. It's going to take a couple hours for the crews to clear them out.
Tough lines down too?
Yep, they got the crews out working on them too.
Driver, it seems to me we are still in the state of Kansas, is that right?
What do you mean still? Mister, you've been in the state of Kansas for about a half hour.
I don't understand. I was told when I left Kansas City that we would be across the state line immediately.
You was
and
always to get across that state line too, wasn't you, Jack?
Why, whatever do you mean?
Nothing. Anyways, you're across the line now, and in case you didn't know it, Kansas City's in Missouri.
Are you joking?
There's a Kansas City, Kansas too, but you got on in Kansas City, Missouri. That's the trouble with you Easterners. You don't know anything about any part of the country west of the Hudson River.
Come now, don't scold.
Carl, let me take your coat for you. You can get warm by the fire.
Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
I'm sorry your bus is held up.
Ooh, is that a nice way to greet me?
Oh, I mean...
After my loving greeting, all you can think of to say is, I'm sorry your bus is held up? Well, I'm not. I would much rather sit here looking into the innocent blue of your eyes than continue riding on that monotonous bus.
But don't you have to get somewhere?
I have a ticket in my pocket to Denver, but I don't have to get there. I never have to get anywhere. I travel around from one town to another just to prove to myself that I'm free.
Well, the bus probably won't get to Denver for another day.
Well, what is our next stop?
Topeka.
Topeka. Oh yes, that's where the famous hospital is, isn't it?
The Medinger Clinic? Oh yes, lots of famous people go there for nervous breakdowns and things.
Does the town offer anything else in the way of diversion?
Well, it's the capital city of Kansas. We got a university and a museum, sometimes symphony plays and concerts. Oh, I go there every Sunday to visit my married sister.
Aren't there any Indian tribes around here that have war dances?
Now, silly. We're very civilized.
I'll make my own judgment about that. Meanwhile, you may fix me a double shot of rye whiskey on the rocks.
I'm sorry, sir. We don't sell drinks.
You don't sell drinks?
Not intoxicating drinks, no, sir.
Alack.
But we do have freshly brewed coffee, all kinds of cakes and pies, freshly made
No, my
sandwiches.
girl, you're not going to sober me up with your dainties. I am prepared for such emergencies. You may give me a bottle of your finest lemon soda.
You'd better not let Will see you with that. You're not supposed to.
Well, who's he, the sheriff?
Yes. Lots of people do spike their drinks, and we never say anything. But if he saw you, he'd make you stop.
I shall be most cautious. I promise.
Carl, I sure don't envy you driving on nights like this.
Yeah, Martha's coming in like a lion.
Is this all the passengers you got?
Oh, there's a couple of crazy cowboys rolled up in the backseat asleep. I thought I woke them up, but I guess I didn't.
Should you go do it now?
I just said they stay where they're at, Will. One was a real troublemaker. You know the kind. First time off the ranch in Wild as a Bronco. Been on the make for a little blonde down here.
She was telling me that.
I've a good mind putting him off the bus the way he was acting. I say there's a time and there's a place for everything.
That bus might get snowbound pretty soon.
I'll wake up a minute, Will. Just give me a little time here. You know what, Grace? This is the first time you and I ever had more than 20 minutes together.
So what?
So, I don't know. I'll probably be here most of the night. It'd be kind of nice to have a nice little partner to go to, someplace to sit, listen to the radio, talk. A pretty woman, some like you. Maybe listen to the radio, maybe even have a couple beers.
That wouldn't be a hint or anything, would it?
Well, why, Grace? You got an apartment like that?
Why, yes, I do. But I never told you about it. Did that ornery Dobson fellow go gabbing to you about my apartment?
Dobson. I don't recollect anyone named Dobson.
Oh, you know him better than I do. He comes through twice a week on the Southwest bus. He says you and him meet in Topeka sometimes and paint the town.
Dobson. Oh, I know Dobson. Fern Dobson. Prince of a fella.
Yeah, well, if he's been blabbing to you about my apartment, I can tell you he's only ever been up there once, when he came in here with his hand cut, and I took him up there to bandage it. Now, that was the only time he was ever up there, on my word of honor.
Now, Grace, Fern Dobson speaks very highly of you, very highly.
Well, he better. Now, what you gonna have?
Oh, give me a ham and cheese on rye.
Sorry, Carl, I got no cheese.
What happened? The mice get it?
None of your
That's fine.
wise remarks.
Okay, make it a ham on rye.
Sorry, Carl, I got no rye either.
I can vouch for that, sir. I just asked for rye myself and was refused.
Mister, don't you think you'll lay off that stuff till you get home and meet the missus?
The missus, did you say? I have no missus, sir. I am free. I can travel the universe with no one to await my arrival anywhere.
That's all I do with my buses, drunks and hoodlums.
How's for whole week, Carl?
Always fine, Grace.
Yes, I am free. My third and last wife deserted me several years ago for a ball player.
Your third?
Yes, my third. Getting married is a careless habit I've fallen into. Sometimes, really, I must give it all up. Oh, but she was pretty. Blonde like the young lady over there. And Southern, too, or pretended to be. However, she was kinder than the others when we parted. She didn't care about money. All she wanted was to find new marital bliss with her ball player, so I never had to pay her any alimony. As if I could. My second wife, she was a different type entirely. Oh, she was pretty, too. I've always exercised the most excellent taste, if not the best judgment. She was a student of mine when I was teaching at an Eastern university. Alack, she sued me for divorce on the grounds that I was unfaithful and always drunk. I didn't have a chance to resign from that position.
How much are them donuts?
I'll make you a special price. 2 for a nickel.
Okay.
That time of year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves, or none, or few, do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold.
I never was so cold in my life.
Do you honestly work in a nightclub?
Sure, I'm a chanteuse. I call myself Cherie.
Well, that's French, isn't it?
I don't know. I've just seen the name once and kind of appealed to me.
It's French. It means dear one. Is that all the name you use?
That's all the name you need. Like Hildegard. She was a chanteuse too.
Chanteuse. Well, that means singer.
How come you know so much?
Oh, I'm taking French in high school.
Oh, I never got as far as high school. See, I was the oldest girl in my family after my sister Violet ran away. I had 2 other sisters, both younger than me, and 5 brothers. Was they mean? Anyway, I had to quit school when I was 12 to take care of the house and do the cooking. I'm a real good cook though, honest.
Did you study singing?
Just picked it up, listening to the radio, seeing movies, trying to put my songs over as good as them people did.
Then how'd you get started in a nightclub?
I won an amateur contest down in Joplin, Missouri. I won 2nd prize there. A couple of boys won 1st prize. They juggled milk bottles. I don't think that's fair to you. To make an artistic performer compete with jugglers, knife throwers, and people like that.
No, I don't.
Well, 2nd prize was good enough to get me to Kansas City to enter the contest there. And it was a real big contest, and I didn't win any prize at all, but it got me a job at the Blue Dragon.
Is that where you're from, Joplin?
No, Joplin's a big town. I lived about 100 miles from there in River Gulch, a little town in the Ozarks. I lived there till 3 years ago this spring, when the floods washed us all away.
Gee, that's too bad.
I don't know where any of my folks are now, except my baby sister Nan. We all just separated when the floods come, and I took Nan into Joplin with me. She got a job as a waitress, and I worked at Liggett's drugstore, till the amateur contest opened.
Well, it must be fun working in a nightclub.
It ain't all roses.
You gonna be here a while, Will?
I suppose so.
I'm gonna send them cowboys in here now and leave you to look after.
I'll do my best.
I'll tell you something else. So you better keep an eye on him too.
I'll be jiggered. Aren't you coming back, Carl?
Well, to tell you the truth, Will, my back gets darn stiff sitting behind that wheel all day. I was thinking I might go out for a nice long walk.
In this blizzard? You gone crazy?
No, Will, just kind of fella I am. I like to go for long walks in the rain and the snow. Freshens the fella up.
You do?
Sometimes I'll walk for hours.
Really, you do?
Yeah, Will, for hours. Just the kind of fella I am.
Imagine that. Going out for a walk on a night like this.
Well, it's really good for one, Will. It really is.
He said he's gonna go wake him up. Then he'll be in here pretty soon. You won't let on I said anything about him, will you?
No, cross my heart.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short to date.
Why, that's one of my favorite sonnets.
It is. Do you read Shakespeare?
At school, in English class. I just love the sonnets. I memorized a few myself.
I used to know them all by heart, and many of the plays I could recite in their entirety, and I often did for the entertainment and annoyance of my friends.
Last fall, I memorized the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet. A boy in my class played Romeo, and we presented for convocation one day.
I wish I had been there to see.
Where I went to school, we didn't read no Shakespeare till the 9th grade. In the 9th grade, everyone read Julius Caesar. I only made it as far as 8th, though. I seen Marlon Brando in the movie once, though. I sure do like that Marlon Brando.
Madam, where is thy young Lochinvar?
I don't understand anything you say, but I just love the way you say it.
And I understand everything I say, but privately despise the way I say it.
That's so cute. I had a very nice friend once that recited poetry.
Whatever could have happened to him?
I don't know. He left town. His name was Mr. Everett Burbraker. He sold secondhand cars on the corner of 8th and Wyandotte. He had a lovely Pontiac car with the top down. He talked nice, but I guess he wasn't any nicer than any of the others.
The others?
Well, you meet quite a few men in the place I worked at, the Blue Dragon nightclub down by the stockyards. You ever hear of it?
No, and I deeply regret the fact.
You're just saying that. An educated man like you would have no use for the Blue Dragon.
I wouldn't.
Cherie! Oh, hi! Why the name won't wake us up? Birch and I might have froze out there.
Hey, shut the door!
Cherie, how come you get off the bus without letting me know? That ain't way to treat the man you're gonna marry? That's no way to treat a fella, Cherie. To slip off the bus like you wanted to get rid of him, maybe, and come in here and eat by yourself? I thought we'd have a little snack together. Sometimes I just don't understand you, Cherie.
For the 100th time, my name ain't Cherie.
I can't say it the way you do. What's wrong with Cherie?
It's kind of embarrassing.
Cowboy, will you have the decency to shut that door?
I'll get it.
Why, what's the matter with you, mister? You afraid of a little fresh air? Why, man, you ought to breathe real deep. Get your lungs full of it. That's the trouble with you city people. You get soft.
He's the sheriff, Bo.
Supposing he is the sheriff, what's that matter to me? That don't give him the right to insult my manners, does it?
No.
man ever had to tell me what to do, Virgin.
No, but there always comes a time when you gotta just...
My name's Bo Decker. And I'm 21 years old. And I own me my own ranch up in Timber Hill, Montana, where I got a herd of fine Hereford cattle and a dozen horses and the finest sheep and hogs and chickens anywhere in the country. And I just come back from a rodeo where I won just about every prize there was, didn't I, Virgin? Yep, I am the prize bronco buster and steer roper and bulldogger anywhere around. I won them all. And what's more is had my picture taken by Live magazine. So I'd appreciate your talking to me with a little bit more respect in your voice, mister, and not go hollering orders at me from across the room like I'm some no-count servant.
Did you ever see anyone like him?
You're the last one in, cowboy. You should have shut the door. I don't care who you are. That's all I'm saying.
Door's closed now. What you arguing about? Well, seems like we're gonna be here for a while, Birch. How's for some grub?
Now, right now, I'm chewing tobacco.
Ha! That's old Birch for you. Always happy long as he's got a wad of tobacco in his mouth. Well, I'm gonna have me a little snack. Miss, give me about 3 hamburgers.
3? How'd you like them?
I want them raw.
Honest?
It's the only way to eat them, raw, with a thick slice of onion and some piccolo.
Well, if you sure you ain't joking.
Just a minute, miss. That ain't all. I'd also like me some ham and eggs, and some potato salad, and a piece of pie. And I ain't so particular on what kind of pie it is, just as long as it's got that meringue on top of it.
Well, we got lemon and chocolate. They both got meringue.
Lemon and chocolate. Well, I like them both. I don't know which I'd rather have. I'll have them both, miss.
Both?
Yep. Instead of quart of milk beside me, I'm still a growing boy. Yep, traveling always picks up my appetite. That all you have is just a measly little donut?
I ain't hungry.
Why not?
I just ain't.
You ought to be.
Well, I ain't.
Wait till I get you up to the Susie Q. I'll fatten you up. Why, I bet in 2 weeks' time you won't recognize yourself. But doggone, I love you, Cherie, just the way you are. You are about the cutest little piece I ever did see. And man, when I come into that nightclub place and hear you singing my favorite song, standing before that orchestra, looking like an angel, I told myself right then and there, she's for me. And I ain't gonna leave this place without her. And now I got you, ain't it, Cherie?
Bo, there's people here. They're looking.
What if they are? It's no crime to show a little affection, is it? Especially when we're gonna get married.
Oh, for crying out loud, let me be.
Cherie, that's no way to talk to your husband.
That's all you done since we left Kansas City is maul me.
Oh, is that so? Well, I certainly ain't one to pester any woman with my affections. I never had to beg no woman to make love to me, did I, Virgin? I never had to coax no woman to make love to me, did I, Virgin? Did I?
No.
No. Everywhere I go, I got all the women I want. I got to fight to keep them off me, don't I, Virgin?
Here are the hamburgers. The ham and eggs will give you 2 more minutes.
Okay, these will give me a start.
Elma, honey, I got the darndest headache.
I'm sorry, Grace.
do you mind looking after things a while?
Sure.
Because the only thing I know to do is just to go upstairs and lie down a while. That's the only thing gonna do me any good at all.
What's the matter, Grace?
I got a headache, Will. It's just driving me wild.
That's so.
You are now the mistress of the inn.
You never told me anything about your first wife.
Now, how could I have omitted her?
What was she like?
Oh, she was the loveliest of them all. I do believe she was. We had such an idyllic honeymoon together, a golden month of sunshine and romance in Bermuda. She sued me for divorce later on the grounds of mental cruelty and persuaded the judge she should have my house and my motor car and an alimony that I still find it difficult to pay, for she never chose to marry again. She found that for all she wanted out of marriage, she didn't have to marry. Well, perhaps I'm being unkind.
Miss, was you waiting for me to lay them eggs?
Oh, I'm sorry. They're done now.
Well, them hamburgers was just an hors d'oeuvre. Thank you, miss. Daggone! Cherie, what you want to bring your suitcase in for? Cherie, I'm asking you a civil question. What you want to bring your suitcase in for? Tell me.
Well,
What's
don't
your suitcase doing there behind the counter, Cherie? What was you trying to do? Was you trying to get away from me? What was you trying to do? Fool me? Tell me, Cherie.
Take your hands off me,
Tell me, Cherie.
Leave the little lady alone, cowboy.
Mister, you got no right interfering between me and my fiancée.
I don't care if she's your fiancée or she ain't. You're not gonna abuse her while I'm here, you understand?
Abuse her?
Miss, I think it's about time you tell them how you feel about things.
What's this critter trying to say, Cherie?
Miss, go on, tell them.
Now, Bo, don't get mad.
I'll get mad if I feel like it. What you two got planned?
I don't want to go up to Montana and marry him.
You do too.
I do not.
Anyways, you'll come to like it in time. I promised you would now. We've been through all that before.
But, Bo, I ain't going.
What?
I ain't going. The sheriff here said he'd help me. He ain't gonna let you take me any further. I'm staying here and taking the next bus back to Kansas City.
You ain't gonna do nothing of the kind.
Yes, I am, Bo. You gotta believe me. I ain't going with you, that's final.
But, Cherie, we was familiar with each other.
That don't mean you gotta marry me.
Why, I'd take you across my knee and blister your little
Don't touch
toe. You can't pay no attention to what she says, mister. Women folk don't know their own minds, never did. You're gonna follow me back to Timber Hill and marry up. You think you wouldn't like it now because you've never been there and the whole idea seems kind of strange, but you'll get over them feelings. In no time at all, you're gonna be as happy as a mud hen. Now, I ain't taking no for an answer. By God, you're coming along.
She's not going with you if she doesn't want to go, cowboy. Can't you get that through your skull?
This ain't no business of yours.
It's my business when the little lady comes to me asking for protection.
Is that right, Cherie? Did you go to the sheriff asking for protection?
I guess I did.
Why? What do you need protection for? From a man that wants to marry you? Because why? I said I loved you, didn't I?
I know you did.
You see there? I told her I loved her and I want to marry her. And with a world full of crazy people going around killing each other, you ain't got nothing better to do than stand here trying to keep me from it.
You're just overlooking one thing, cowboy.
You're so smart. Tell me what I'm overlooking.
The simple but important fact that she don't love you.
Bo, take it easy, Bo. He's the sheriff, Bo. Don't blow your head.
That polecat bastard said she didn't love me.
Come on over here and sit down, Bo. You gotta think things over.
Let me be, Verge.
Ask the lady. Ask the lady if she loves you.
I ain't asking her nothing of the kind.
Fine, then take my word for it.
I wouldn't take your word for a cloudy day. I'm telling you, she loves me and I already know.
She's not getting back on the bus with you, and we're going to leave it at that. So why don't you sit down with your friend and have a nice quiet game of pinochle until that bus gets on its way and takes you with it.
Yeah, I'll do like he tells you, Bo. I think maybe you got the little lady all wrong anyhow.
Don't you say nothing against her, Verge.
I ain't saying nothing against her. I just don't see any reason why you want to marry a gal says she don't love you. That's all. I kind of doubt she's as good a gal as you think she is. Now come on over here and sit down.
I don't feel like sitting.
What should I do with the ham and eggs?
I'll just put them on the stove and keep them warm, miss. He'll have them a little later.
Well, miss, I don't think he's going to bother you anymore. But if he does or anything comes up, my station's just across the road. You can holler.
Thanks, sure.
I'm heading out, Elma. You gonna be okay?
Of course.
I'll look on things in a little bit, okay?
All right.
I don't know why, but I always seem to relax more easily when a sheriff leaves the room.
I think it's awfully unfair that people dislike Will just because he's a sheriff.
But you see, my dear, he stands as a symbol of authority, the most dreaded figure of our time. Policemen, teachers, lawyers, judges, doctors, I suppose even tax collectors. We take it for granted they are going to punish us for something we didn't do, or did do.
But you said you were a teacher once.
But not a successful one. I could never stay in one place very long at a time, and I hated having anyone over me, like deans and presidents and department heads. I never was a man who could take orders from anyone without feeling resentment. Right or wrong, I have always insisted on having my own way.
What am I going to do, Verge?
You just gotta quit depending on me so much, Bo. I don't know what to tell you to do other than sit down and be peaceful.
I can't be peaceful.
All right, then pace around like a panther and be miserable.
I just can't believe it.
What can't you believe?
No, nothing.
If you got something on your chest, Bo, it's best to get it off.
Well, I just never realized that a gal might not love me.
And where else did you teach?
My last position was at one of those revolting little progressive colleges in the East, where they offer a curriculum of what they call functional education. Educators, I'm sure, have despaired of ever teaching students anything, so they've decided the second best thing to do is to try to understand them. Every day there'd be a meeting of everyone on the entire faculty and staff with whom the students ever came into any contact, from the president down to the chambermaids. We have put our collective heads together to try to figure out why little Jane or little Mary was not getting out of her classes what she should. The suggestion that perhaps she wasn't studying was too simple. And if you imply that she simply didn't have the brains for a college education, why, you were being undemocratic.
Well, you must have disapproved of that college.
My dear girl, I have disapproved of my entire life.
Really?
Yes. But I suppose I couldn't resist living it over again.
Well, did you resign from that position?
One day I decided I'd had enough. I walked blithely into the dean's office and said, "Sir, I graduated magna cum laude from the University of Chicago. studied at Oxford on a Rhodes Scholarship, and returned to take my PhD at Harvard University. I think I have the right to expect my students to try to understand me.
And what he said?
Oh, I didn't wait for a response. I walked out the door, went to the railroad station, and got a ticket to the farthest place I could think of, which happened to be Las Vegas. I've been traveling ever since. It's a mighty way to go to pot.
I thought that I might like to be a teacher, but you don't make it sound very attractive.
Suit yourself. Don't let me influence you one way or the other. You are a lovely young girl.
Well, thank you, Dr. Lyman.
Did you tell me you're going to Topeka tomorrow?
Oh, you mean today? Oh, yes. I have a ticket to hear the Kansas City Symphony. They come once a year.
You say you stay with your sister there.
Yep. And then I take an early morning back, bus to come back to school on Monday, and then after school I come to work for Grace.
Didn't you say there is a university in Topeka?
Oh, yes, Washburn University.
Washburn University, of course. You know, it just occurs to me that I should stop there to check some references on a piece of research I'm engaged on.
Oh, well, I've been to Washburn Library lots of times.
You have, but perhaps you could take me there.
Well,
I'll arrive in Topeka before you do, then meet your bus.
If you really want me
You
to.
could take me to the library, then perhaps we could have dinner together, and perhaps you would permit me to take you to the symphony.
Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious. Why do you ask?
Oh, I don't know. It's just normally, adults are too busy to pay attention to kids. I would just love to.
Then I may depend on it that I have an engagement.
Oh, yes, that'll be lots of fun. I can't wait.
But my dear, let's not tell anyone of our plans, shall we?
Why not?
Well, I have been married, and I am somewhat older than you, though perhaps not quite so old as you might take me to be. Anyway, people might not understand.
Oh,
So let's keep our plans to ourselves. Promise?
well, if you think best.
I think it best.
That was real purty, Virgil.
Oh, thank you, miss.
Isn't there some other way to get me back to Kansas City?
No, I'm sorry. The bus comes from Topeka, and it can't get through either till the roads are cleared.
I was just getting sort of restless.
Emma, fill this service up for me like a good girl.
Sure will.
I'm going down to see how the highway gang's getting along and thought they'd enjoy some nice hot coffee.
Oh, that's a good idea, Will.
Everyone behaving?
Of course.
Grace not down yet?
No.
You know, I didn't see Carl outside either. Suppose something could have happened to him?
I wouldn't worry about him, Will.
Yeah, I suppose he can take care of himself. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, Elmer, if anyone should be wanting me, I won't be gone very long.
That dang sheriff. If it wasn't for him, I'd get Cherie now and I'd...
What? Where would you take her, Bo?
There's a justice of the peace down the street. You can see a sign from the window.
Can't force the guy to marry you. You just can't do it. That sheriff's a stern man. He'd shoot you the minute if he saw it was your duty. Now, why don't you pull on over to the counter over there and get yourself a drink like a professor?
I never did drink, and I ain't gonna let no woman drive you to it.
You don't drink or smoke or chew. You gotta have some bad habits to rely on when things with women go wrong.
Urged. I hate to sound like some pitiable weakling of a man. There's been times the last few months I've been so lonesome, I just didn't know what to do with myself.
Now, it's no disgrace to feel that way.
How about you, Virg? Don't you ever get lonesome too?
A long time ago, I just decided I was going to give up on romance and take being lonesome for granted.
I wish I could do that, but I can't.
Maybe I'm a sap.
What makes you say that?
I don't know why I don't go off to Montana and marry him. I might be better off than I am now.
He says he loves you.
He don't know what love is.
Well, what makes you say that?
All he wants is a girl to throw his arms around and hug and kiss, and that's all. The rest of the the time he don't even know I exist.
Then what made you decide to marry him in the first place?
You ain't very experienced, are ya?
I guess not.
I never did decide to marry him. Everything was going fine till he brought up that subject. Bo come in one night when I was singing that old black magic. It's one of my best numbers. He liked it so much, he jumped on a table and yelled like an Indian, put his fingers in his mouth and whistled like a steam engine. Naturally, it made me feel good. Most of the customers at the Blue Dragon was too drunk to pay any attention to my songs.
And you liked him?
Well, I thought he was awful cute.
I think he looks a little like Burt Lancaster, don't you?
Maybe. Anyway, I never seen a real cowboy before. Oh, I've seen him in movies, of course, but never in the flesh. And he's so darn healthy looking. I don't mind admitting I was attracted right from the start.
You were?
But it was only what you might call a sexual attraction.
Oh.
The very next morning, Bo wakes up and hollers, "Yippee, we're getting married." I honestly thought he was crazy. But when I tried to reason with him, he wouldn't listen to a word. He stayed by my side all day long like a shadow. And then, of course, he had to go back to the rodeo. But he was back at the Blue Dragon in time for the midnight show. If any other fella claimed to have a date with me, Bo would beat him up.
And you never told him you'd marry him?
No. He kept telling me all week that he and the bird would be by the night the rodeo ended, and we'd all start back to Montana together. I knew if I was at the Blue Dragon that night, that's what happened. So I decided to beat it. One of the other girls at the Blue Dragon lives on a farm across the river in Kansas. She said I could save her. So I went to the Blue Dragon last night and just sang for the first show. Then I told him I was quitting. I've been wanting to find another job anyway, and I picked up last year, the kitty. But darn it, I had to go and tell him I was taking the midnight bus. They had to go and tell Bo, of course, when he come in a little after 11. He paid them $5 to find out. So I went down to the bus station and hadn't even got my ticket yet. When here come Bo and Verge. He just steps up to the window and says, "3 tickets to Montana." I didn't know what to say. Then he dragged me on that bus and I've been on it ever since. And somewhere deep down inside of me, I got a funny feeling I'm gonna end up in Montana.
Tell me something, Verge. We've been together since my folks died, and I was wondering if maybe I didn't spoil your chances of settling down.
No, you never, Bo. I used to tell myself you did, but I just wanted an excuse.
But you've been looking after me since I was 10.
Yeah, I could have married up too.
Was you ever in love?
Once, before I went to work on your daddy's ranch.
What happened?
Nothing.
You asked her to marry?
Nope.
Why not?
Well, there comes a time in every fella's life when he's got to give up his own ways.
How you mean?
I was always kind of uncomfortable around this gal because she was sweet, kind of refined, and I was always afraid I'd say or do something wrong.
I know how you mean.
Well, it was cowardly of me, I suppose, but I'd get back from courting her and get back to the bunkhouse where my buddies was just playing cards or listening to the radio or talking, and I just felt myself so much at home, I didn't want to give it up.
Yeah, gals can scare a fella.
Well, now I'm kind of ashamed, Bo.
You are?
Yes, I am. A fella can't spend his whole life depending on buddies.
Why don't she like me, Verge?
Well,
Tell me the truth.
maybe you don't go about it right.
What do I do wrong?
Sometimes you sound a little bullheaded and mean.
I do?
Yeah.
How's a fella supposed to act?
Well, seems to me that you should be a little more gallant.
Gallant?
Hmm?
I'm as gallant as I know how to be. You hear the way Hank and Orville talk back at the ranch when they get back from soldiering in town about their women?
They like to brag, Bo. You can't believe everything Hank and Orville
Is there
say.
any reason a gal wouldn't go for me as soon as she would for Hank or Orville?
They're a little older than you. They learned a little more. They can be gallant with gals when they want to be.
I ain't gonna pretend.
I can't say I blame you.
But a gal ought to like me. I can read and write, I'm kind of tidy, and I got good manners, don't I?
I'm no judge, Bo. I'm used to you.
And I'm tall and strong. Ain't that what gals like? But if I do so say myself, I'm pretty good looking.
Yeah?
When I get all spruced up, I'm just as good looking a fella as a gal might hope to see.
I know you are, Bo.
Then hellfire and damnation, why don't you go back to the ranch with me?
Gee, if you only loved him.
That'd solve everything, wouldn't it? But I don't. So I just can't see myself going to some godforsaken ranch in Montana where I'd never see no one but him and a lot of cows.
No, if you didn't love him, it'd be awful lonely.
I don't know why I keep expecting myself to fall in love with someone, but I do.
I know I expect to. Someday.
I'm beginning to seriously wonder if there is the kind of love I have in mind.
And what's that?
Well, I'm only 19, but I've been going with guys since I was 14.
Honest?
Honey, I almost married a cousin of mine when I was 14, but Pappy wouldn't have it.
I never heard of anyone marrying so young.
Down in the Ozarks, we don't waste much time. And I'm awful glad I never married my cousin Malcolm, because he turned out to be real bad like Pappy predicted. But I sure was crazy about him at the time, and I've been losing my head about some guy ever since. But Bo's first one wanted to marry me, since cousin Malcolm. And naturally, I'd like to get married and raise a family and all them things, but
You never been in love?
maybe I have and don't know it. That's what I mean. Maybe I don't know what love is. Maybe I'm expecting it to be something it ain't. I just feel, regardless of how crazy you are about some guy, you gotta feel, and it's hard to put it into words, but you gotta feel he respects you. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, I should think so.
I want a guy I can look up to and respect, but I don't want one that'll browbeat me. And I want a guy that can be sweet to me, but I don't want to be treated like a baby. I just feel whoever I'm marrying has to have some real regard for me, apart from all the loving and the sex. You know what I mean?
I think so. What are you gonna do when you get back to Kansas City?
I don't know. There's a hillbilly program on the radio stations there. I might get a job on it. And if I don't, I'll probably get me a job at Liggett's or Walgreens. Then, after a while, probably marry some guy, whether I think I love him or not. Who am I to keep insisting that I should fall in love? You hear about love all the time when you're a kid and just take it for granted that such a thing really exists. Maybe you have to find out for yourself and don't. Maybe everyone's afraid to tell you.
Gee, maybe you're right. Oh, but I hope not.
Well, I hate to go out in that cold powder room, but I guess I better not put it off any longer.
How defiantly we pursue love. Like it was an inheritance due that we had to wrangle about with angry relatives in order to get our share.
Well, you shouldn't complain. You've had 3 wives.
Don't shame me. I love them all with passion. Or at least thought I did for a while.
I'm sorry, Dr. Lyman. I didn't mean to sound sarcastic.
Don't apologize. I'm too egotistical ever to take offense at anything people say.
Oh, you're not egotistical at all.
Now, believe me, the greatest egos are those which are too egotistical to show just how egotistical they are.
I like to think that I'm idealistic about things. I like to think that people fall in love and stay that way forever and ever.
Maybe we have lost the ability. Maybe man has passed the stage in his evolution wherein love is possible. Maybe life will continue to become so terrifyingly complex, but man's anxiety about his mere survival will render him too miserly ever to give of himself in any true relation.
You're talking over my head. Why, I always thought that anyone could fall in love. And
But
then,
two people really in love must give up something of themselves.
yes.
And that is the gift that men are afraid to make. Sometimes they keep it in their bosoms forever, where it withers and dies. Then they never know love. Only its facsimiles, which they seek over and over again in meaningless repetition.
Gee, how'd we get on this subject?
Oh, my dear, pay no attention to me. For whether there is such a thing as love, we can always pretend there is. Let us talk instead of our forthcoming trip to Topeka. Will you wear your prettiest dress?
Of course. If it's a nice day out, I'll wear a new dress that my mother got me for spring. It's a soft rose color with a little lace collar.
Ah, you'll look lovely, lovely. I know you will. I hope it doesn't embarrass you for me to speak these endearments.
Oh, no, it don't embarrass me.
I'm glad. Just think of me as a fatherly old fool, will you? And not be troubled if I take such rapturous delight in your sweetness and youth and innocence. For these are qualities I seek to warm my heart, as I seek a fire to warm my hands.
Gee, now I am kind of embarrassed. I don't know what to say.
Then say nothing. Or nudge me and I'll speak endlessly about the most trivial matters.
Bert, it's cold. Virgil, I wish you would play us another song. I think we all need something to cheer us up.
I'll make a deal with you. I'll play if you'll sing.
Oh, let's have a floor show. Well, everyone here could do something.
A brilliant idea, straight from Chaucer. You must read Juliet for me.
Will you play for us, Virgil?
I don't play no opera music or jitterbug.
Will you take part?
Oh, go on, Bo.
I never was no play actor, miss.
You can you can say the Gettysburg Address.
I ain't gonna say it now.
But you can do your rope tricks. Your rope's out on the bus. I can get it for you easy enough.
Oh, please, rope tricks would be lots of fun.
No, I ain't gonna get up before a lot of strangers and make a fool of myself.
I guess it means it, miss.
Well, shucks.
I don't see why you couldn't have cooperated a little more, Bo.
I got too much on my mind to worry about doing stunts.
And you'll sing a song for us, won't you, Cherie?
I will for a piece of pie and another cup of coffee.
Okay.
Virgil, can you play for me?
Hey, you start me off. I think I can pick up the chords.
And you'll read poetry for us, won't you?
Why, I intend to play Romeo opposite your Juliet.
Oh, I don't know if I could remember the lines.
Sometimes one can find Shakespeare on these shelves, among the many lurid novels of juvenile delinquents. Ah, here it is. Great Tragedies of Shakespeare, with my compliments.
Hey, Cherie, that's my seat.
Well, if I look it over a few times, I think I can remember them.
You can have it.
Do you know the balcony scene?
My dear, I know the entire play by heart. I can recite it backwards.
I got a costume with me. Where can I change?
Oh, behind the counter. There's a mirror over the sink.
She shines up to you like a kid in the milk.
Can I help it if I'm so darn attractive to women? No, shucks, Bo. It don't mean nothing. She was just being nice to me because I was playing my guitar.
Maybe it don't mean nothing to you.
Well, guitar music's kind of tender.
Tender?
Girls kind of like it.
Tender?
Yeah. Girls like things to be tender, Bo.
They do.
Well, sure they do.
A fella gets tender. Someone comes along and makes a sap out of it.
Now, sometimes, but not always. You just gotta take a chance.
I always tried to be a decent sort of fella, but I don't know if I'm tender.
Well, I think you are, Bo. You know how you feel about deer hunting, how you couldn't shoot one of them poor deers with the sad eyes, then you could jump into boiling oil.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I ain't making fun of you, Bo. I'm just saying you got a tender side, same as anybody else.
I suppose I did.
Well, sure you did.
And how come Cherie don't come and talk sweet to me like she does to you?
You got a tender side, Bo, but you just don't know how to show it.
I don't.
No, you just don't know how.
How does a person go about showing his tender side?
Well, I don't reckon as I can tell you.
Will you go first, Virgil?
That's all right by me.
Okay, then I'll act as master of ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, Grace's Diner tonight presents its gala floor show of celebrated artists from all over the world. Our first number is that musical cowboy, Mr. Virgil
Bless it.
Virgil Blessed, who will entertain us with his guitar.
Psst, Cherie, I think you got me all wrong.
Don't come back here. I'm dressing.
Cherie, I think you misjudged me.
Be quiet. The show is starting.
Cherie, I'm really a very tender person. You just don't know. I'm so tender-hearted that I don't go deer hunting because I just couldn't kill them sweet little deers with the sad eyes. Ask birds.
I ain't interested.
You ain't?
No. And furthermore, I think you're a louse for coming back here and talking while your friends are trying to play the guitar.
Talk like you a lot more virgin you do than me.
Would you go away and leave me alone?
Did I tell you about my color television set with a 24-inch screen?
1,000,000 times. Now go away.
That's swell.
Brilliant.
Won't you play us another?
No, not right yet. I want to see the rest of y'all do something.
Oh, she cares about how tender I am.
Are you ready?
I consider myself so.
Will you be our prompter, Virgil?
No, it's kind of funny writing, but I'll try.
Oh, gee. What are we going to use for a balcony?
That offers a problem.
What is it these folks are gonna do, Virg?
It's Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare.
Shakespeare?
Yeah. Yeah, Romeo, he was a great lover. You gotta watch him pick up a few pointers.
But some, what light through
I'm ready.
yonder window
Okay.
breaks, it is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness a playing of a scene from Romeo and Juliet. Dr. Jared Lyon will portray the part of Romeo, and I'll play Juliet. My name is Elma Duckworth. The scene takes place at the Capulet's house in Verona, Italy. This is supposed to be a balcony, okay?
He just set scars that never felt a wound. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun.
Oh,
Arise,
Romeo,
fair-
wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Oh.
Deny thy father, refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I will no longer be a Capulet.
She speaks, yet she says nothing. But what of that? Her eye discourses, I will answer it. I'm too bold.
Bold, he's drunk.
'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some busyness, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return.
Ay me.
Oh, speak again, bright angel. Thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head as is a winged messenger of heaven unto the
I don't understand all them words, Virg.
it's Romeo and Juliet, for Pete's sake.
wondering
Would you
eyes
shut
of
up?
mortals that fall back to gaze upon him when he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
'Tis but thy name that is thy enemy, not a Montague. What's a Montague? Is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo.
What man then that, discreet by night, so stumbles upon my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself.
Because it is an enemy to thee.
My name is hateful to myself.
Dr. Lyman, what's the matter?
My dear, let us not continue this meaningless little act.
Well, did I do something wrong?
You couldn't possibly do anything wrong if you tried.
I could try saying lines differently.
Don't. Just tell your audience Romeo suddenly is fraught with remorse.
Virg, if that's the way to make love, I'm gonna give up.
I'm afraid he isn't feeling very well.
I tried to prompt him.
It's okay. We only got one more number. Are you ready?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final number is Mademoiselle Cherie, direct from the Blue Dragon nightclub in Kansas City. Cherie.
Woo, Cherie! That's my fiancée.
Remember, I don't allow no
Woo!
Okay.
Brilliant.
That old black magic had me in a spell. That old black magic that you weave so well. Those icy fingers up and down my spine. The same old witchcraft when you're that same old tingle that I feel inside. And then the elevator starts its ride. And down I go, round and round I go, like a leaf that's caught in the tide. I could stay away, but what can I do? I hear your name, and I'm aflame.
Beautiful birds.
Aflame with such a burning desire
I'm gonna get her, Bird.
that only your kiss can put out the fire.
I made up my mind.
You're the lover I've been waiting for, the mate that fate had me created for. And every time your lips meet mine, darling, down and
Anything I
down
want in this
I
life,
go,
I've got.
round and
And I ain't gonna stop
round
now.
I go.
I'm gonna get her, Bird.
In a
Will you
space,
shut up and let me be?
loving that spin I'm in, under that old black magic called love. You ain't got the manners God gave a monkey.
Cherie.
And if I was a man, I'd beat the living daylights out of you. And one day, that's what some man is gonna do. And when it happens, I hope I'm there to see.
Romeo. Romeo, wherefore art
Dr. Lyman!
thou?
Dr. Lyman!
He's in a pretty bad way. Let's get him over on this inch.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's Romeo.
I was telling Virg I love you. You had no right to come over and slap me.
Let me be.
We're going down to wake up the justice of the peace, and you're going to marry me tonight.
Bo,
Good husband. Don't worry, don't worry.
Put her down, cowboy!
Get out of my way.
You're gonna do as I say!
I ain't going to have no one interfering in my ways.
Bo, you can't do this, Bo. You can't pick a fight with the sheriff.
By God, mister, there ain't no man ever got the best of me, and there ain't no man ever gonna.
I'm ready and willing to try, cowboy. Get out of here, go on!
I know this is gonna happen the whole time.
Oh, I better call Grace.
Hey, what is going on?
They're frightened. What, it happened so fast?
I never wanted to cause so much trouble to anyone.
Wow, looks like Will's getting the best of him. I'm gonna put my money on Will Masters anytime. He's got it up here. Well, look at that cowboy. He's green. He just swings out
I
wild.
don't want to watch anymore.
Oh, come on, Will. Come on, give him the old uppercut. That'll do it every time. Ooh, cowboy's down. Will's putting handcuffs on him now.
Will give him first aid. He always does.
Well, you gotta admit, he'd had it coming.
Glad they got that settled outside. Remember the last time we had a fight in here? Had to put in a new window.
Takes strong men and women to love. People strong enough inside themselves to love without humiliation. People big enough to grow with their love and live inside a whole wide new dimension. People brave enough to bear the responsibility of being loved, not fear it as a burden. I never had the generosity to love, to give my own private self to another, for I was weak. I thought the gift would somehow lessen me, Romeo. Romeo, I'm disgusting.
Dr. Lyman?
ever bother with a foolish old man like me.
You're not a foolish old man. Why, I like you more than anyone I've ever known.
I'm flattered, my dear, and pleased, but you're young. In a few years, you'll turn from a girl into a woman, a kind, thoughtful, loving, intelligent woman who could only ever pity me. For I'm a child, a drunken, unruly child, and I've nothing in my heart for a true woman.
Let me make you something to make you feel better.
No, don't. I shall seek the icy comfort of the restroom.
Alma, honey, what's the matter? What was he saying to you, Alma?
Miss, would you help us? The sheriff said if you don't press charges against Bo, he'll let him back on the bus if it ever goes.
So he can come back in here and start mauling me again?
He won't do that, miss. No more, I promise.
You promise. What about him?
I think you can trust him now.
That's what I thought before. Nothing doing. He grabs a hold of a woman and kisses her like he was Napoleon.
Miss, if he ever knew I told you this, he'd never forgive me, but you're the first gal he ever made love to at all.
I sure don't believe that.
He's always been as shy as a rabbit.
My word.
So take my advice and don't meet him in Topeka or anywhere else.
I won't, Grace. Oh, but honest, I don't think he meant any harm. He just drinks a little too much. Dr. Lyman, how do you feel?
I'm an old man, my dear. I feel very weary.
Let him sleep it off. It's all you can do.
Crying out loud, Chris, you puked all over the back house.
Come on, Virg, let's go.
Oh, I sure am glad you're going to help him, miss.
But if you're telling me a fib just to get him out of jail, I'll never forgive you.
It's no fib, miss. You're the first gal he ever made love to at all.
Well, I sure ain't never had that honor before.
Go to bed. I'm tired.
Had enough of me, baby? I'm kind of glad that highways plowed up tonight.
We are.
Gave us a chance to kind of acquaint, didn't it?
Kinda.
You know, just pulling in there 3 times a week and pulling out again 20 minutes later. I always left just wondering what you was like, Grace.
I always wondered about you too, Carl.
You did.
But you didn't even blab at anything to the other drivers.
Now, Grace, what makes you think I...
Oh, I know how you men talk when you get together, worse than women.
Not me, Grace.
I do not want the other drivers on this route, some of them especially, think I'm going to serve them anything more than what they order over the counter.
Sure, I get you, but you kind of like me, did you, Grace?
Maybe I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I just liked about you, Carl?
What's that?
It was your hands. I like a man with big hands.
Baby, you got everything.
One of the highway trucks just stopped by. They say it won't be very long now.
I hope so.
Everything peaceful?
Yes, Will.
Cowboy, if you're holding any grudges against me, I think you ought to ask yourself what you'd have done in my place. I couldn't let you carry off with the little lady when she didn't want to go, could I? Could I?
I don't feel like talking, mister.
Well, I couldn't. And I think you might also remember that this little lady could have pressed charges against you and sent you to the penitentiary for violation of the Mann Act.
What act?
The Mann Act. You took a lady across state lines against her will.
That'd be a serious charge, though.
I loved her.
That don't have anything to do with it, cowboy.
A man's got a right to the things he loves.
Not unless he deserves them.
I'm a hard-working man. I own me my own ranch, and I got $6,000 in the bank.
A man don't deserve the things he loves unless he can be a little humble about getting them.
I ain't gonna get down on my knees and beg.
Boy, being humble is not the same thing as being wretched. You know, I wasn't quite as old as you when I had to learn that lesson myself. See, I stole horses instead of women because you could sell horses. Yep. Then one day I stole a horse off the wrong man, the Reverend Hezekiah Pearson. He was more than fair. He gave me every chance in the world to put myself clear. I never thought I'd get mine from a preacher, but he was fair. One day he just couldn't stand it any longer. Then he thrust me to within an inch of my life. I was miserable. That was the first time in my life I ever had to admit I was wrong. Couldn't stand it. And after a few days, I finally had to go and tell him how I felt about things. And I felt different about everything. Joined his church, became bosom pals until he died a few years ago. Virgil, has this cowboy done what I asked him to yet?
Not yet, sure.
Why you got to be so scared?
Who says I'm scared?
You gave me your word, didn't you?
I'm gonna do it if y'all just give me time.
Let me tell you, it's not going to be nothing unless you're sincere.
I don't mean it.
All right, then go on.
Miss, I want to apologize
What for?
for causing such a commotion.
Oh, you needn't apologize to me, cowboy. I like a good fight. You're welcome in Grace's Diner anytime. And I mean, anytime.
Thanks. Elma, I must have acted like a hoodlum. I apologize.
Oh, it's all right.
Thanks, miss.
You know, I'm real sorry we never got to see any rope tricks.
Thank you much. Have I got to wake the professor to apologize to him?
You can overlook the professor.
I can't do it.
Oh,
I just can't.
Why not?
She'd have no respect for me now. She saw me beat.
Whether you got beat or not don't make no difference. You owe that little lady an apology, and you're going to give it, and you're not getting back on that bus. You understand?
Go on, Bo. Go on.
Now, I'll try. Cherie?
Yeah?
Cherie, it wasn't right of me treating you the way I did. Dragging you onto the bus. Trying to make you marry me, whether you wanted to or not. You think you could ever forgive me?
I guess I've been treated worse in my life.
Cherie, I got you here, and I think I ought to get you back in good style. So, here, take this.
Did the sheriff make you do this?
No, by God, he didn't say nothing about me giving you money.
It's his idea, miss, but I think it's a good one.
You don't have to give me this much, Bo.
I want you to have it.
Thanks, I sure could use it.
I wish you good luck. Honest, I do.
I wish you the same.
Now, I guess I said everything is to be said, so long.
So long.
That wasn't so bad, was it, son?
I'd rather break in wild horses than have to do it again.
How's your headache, Grace?
Huh?
A while ago you said you had a headache.
Oh, I feel fine now.
You have a nice walk, Carl?
Yeah, very refreshing.
Probably. Well, I think you better go upstairs because someone left your overshoes outside the door to Grace's apartment.
Nosy old Snoop.
Oh, give me a cup of coffee and one of these here sweet rolls. Well, I'm gonna be boarding the bus pretty soon.
I ain't hungry, Burge.
How about a cup of coffee?
I couldn't get it down.
Oh, what's the matter? You ought to feel pretty good. Sheriff lets you go, and
I might as well just stay in jail.
well, what kind of talk is that? Bus will be leaving pretty soon, and we'll be back on the ranch in a couple of days.
I don't care if I ever see that dang ranch again.
Well, you worked half your life building that place up.
It's the lonesomest damn place I ever did see.
Well, I never thought so.
It'd be like going back to a graveyard.
Oh. I heard Hank and Orville talking about that new school marm works over in Stebbins. They say she's a looker.
I ain't interested in those school moms.
Oh, give yourself time, Bo. You're young. You'll find lots of gals. Gals that'll love you, too.
I want Cherie.
Oh, Bo.
Go get yourself some to eat, Burge.
Oh, my, the lights are up. Grace's diner. It is? I'll tell him. The roads are clear. But you're going to have to put your chains on because they're still awful slick.
Hot damn. Road's clear, folks. Bus will be ready to leave as soon as I get the chains on. Be about 20 minutes. Unless somebody wants to help me.
I'll help you, Carl. Thank you.
Bo,
Yeah?
I just wanted to tell you something, Bo. It's kind of personal and kind of embarrassing too, but I ain't the kind of guy you thought I was.
What you mean, Cherie?
Well, some people would say I led a real wicked life, and I guess I have.
What you trying to tell me?
I figured since you found me at the Blue Dragon, you just took it for granted I had other boyfriends for you.
Yeah,
Yes, Bo, quite a few.
Virgin told me that, but I wouldn't believe him.
Well, it's true. So you see, I'm the kind of gal you want at all.
Dr. Lyman? Dr. Lyman?
Where am I? Oh, dear girl, it's you. What a sweet awakening.
How do you feel?
That's not a polite question. How long have I been asleep here?
Oh, a couple hours.
Sometimes nature blesses me with a total blackout. I seem to remember absolutely nothing after we started our performance. How were we?
Marvelous.
I'm glad. Now, I will have that cup of coffee you were trying to force on me last night.
All right. Can I get you something to eat?
No, nothing to eat.
Well, you must eat something, Dr. Lyman.
Must I?
Yes, really.
Very well. For your sweet sake, I'll have a couple of 3-minute eggs, some orange juice, and toast. But I'm doing this for you, mind you, just for you.
Bo, I'm gonna go help the driver take care of those chains. You stay in here and take care of that hand.
Cherie?
Yeah?
Would I be molesting you if I said something?
No?
Well, since you brought the subject up, you are the first gal I ever had anything to do with. By God, I never thought I'd hear myself saying that, but I did.
I never would have guessed it, Bo.
You see, I'd lived all my life on a ranch. I guess I didn't know much about women, because they're different from men.
Well, naturally.
Every time I got around one, I began to feel kind of scared. I didn't know how to act. It was aggravating.
You wasn't scared with me, Bo.
When I come into that nightclub place, and you were singing, and you looked at me while you were singing, winked at me a couple times. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Now, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of green, but no gal had ever done that to me before. And, I don't know. I guess I thought you were singing your songs just for me.
You did kind of attract me, Bo.
Anyways, you were so pretty, and you seemed so kind of warm-hearted and sweet. I felt like I could love you. And I did.
Bo, do you think you really did love me?
Cherie, I couldn't be familiar with a gal I didn't love.
Bus head west. Oh, Lord. Next stop, Topeka.
How you feeling now, cowboy?
I ain't the happiest critter was ever born.
Just because you're not happy today doesn't mean you're not going to be happy tomorrow. Feel like shaking hands now?
I'll go on, Bo. He just wants to be friends.
I don't mind.
Just so you know, there's no hard feelings. So long.
So long.
Well, Grace, I'll see you on Monday.
So long, Will.
Thanks for helping me, Will. I'll be pulling out as soon as I get these reports made out.
All right. Oh, miss? Montana's not such a bad place.
Nice fellow, Bo.
Maybe I'll think so someday.
Well, maybe we ought to be born in the bus, buddy.
Cherie?
Yeah, Bo?
Cherie, I promise not to molest you. But if you was to give your permission, it'd be all right. I'd like to kiss you back.
You would? Well, I'd like you to kiss me, Bo. I really would. Oh, this time when you kiss me, I think it ought to be different.
Oh. Golly. When you kiss someone for serious, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is.
It don't look like he's molesting her now.
Virg, I need to talk to you.
I could honestly say this was the most delicious breakfast I have ever eaten, but it wouldn't be much of a compliment because I have eaten very few breakfasts.
It's my favorite meal.
Dear girl, let us give up our little spree, shall we? You don't want to go traipsing over the streets of the state's capital with an old reprobate like me.
Whatever you say.
I shall continue my way to Denver. I'm sure it's best.
Well, anyways, I've certainly enjoyed knowing you.
Thank you. Sometimes it is so gratifying to feel that one is doing the right thing. I wonder that I don't choose to always.
What do you mean?
Oh, I was just rambling. You know, perhaps while I'm in the vicinity of Topeka, I should drop in at that hospital and seek some advice.
Well, sometimes their patients come in here, but they look perfectly all right to me.
Friends have been hinting for quite a while that I should get psychoanalyzed. I don't know if they had my best interest at heart or their own.
Gee, I don't see nothing the matter with you.
No, young people never do. However, I don't think I care to be psychoanalyzed. I'd rather cherish myself as I am. Goodbye, my dear. You were the loveliest Juliet since Miss Jane Cowell.
But thank you, Dr. Lyman. I feel that it's been an honor to know you. You're the smartest man I've ever met.
The smartest?
Really, you are.
Oh yes, I'm terribly smart. Wouldn't it have been nice to be intelligent?
Hey, Grace, you know what I heard about the professor?
What?
The detective at the bus terminal in Kansas City is a buddy of mine. He pointed out the professor before he got on the bus. And you know what he said? He said the police in Kansas City picked up the professor for loitering around schools.
Honest?
Then they checked his record and found he'd been in trouble several times for being involved with young girls.
Did you tell Will?
Sure, I told him. They don't have anything on him now, so there's nothing Will could do. What gets me is why he calls himself a doctor. Is he some kind of phony?
Why, no, Carl. He's a doctor of philosophy.
What's that?
What's the very highest degree there is for scholarship?
You'd think he'd have philosophy enough to keep out of trouble.
Sorry to see me go, baby.
Oh, no, I told you I'm tired.
Sometimes I get to thinking, what the hell good is marriage when you gotta put up with the same broad every day? Look at her in the morning, and then try to get along with her when she's in a bad disposition. This way suits me just fine.
I got no complaints either. Incidentally, Carl, are you married?
Now, who said I was married, Grace? You just tell me who it was and I'll fix them.
Relax. Relax. I'll see you day after tomorrow.
You might be surprised what could happen in 20 minutes. All aboard?
He still never said if he was men.
Cherie,
Hi, Bo.
I've been talking with my buddy, and he thinks I'm virgin enough for the two of us.
Honest? Did Virgil say that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like you are, Cherie, so I don't care how you got that way.
That's the tenderest, sweetest thing that was ever said to me.
Cherie, it's awful hard for a fella once he's been turned down once to get up enough guts to try again.
You don't need guts, Bo.
I don't.
It's the last thing in the world you need.
Well, anyways, I just don't have none now, so I'm just gonna have to say what I feel in my heart.
Yeah?
Cherie, I wish he was going back to the ranch with me. More than anything I know.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I'd go anywhere with you now, Bo. Anywhere at all.
You would? You would?
I knew this was gonna happen all the time.
Gee, I didn't.
You hear that, Birch? Woo-hoo! We're getting married after all. Cherie's going back with me.
Isn't it wonderful when someone so awful can be so nice? We're going to Montana. I'm getting married.
Hey, all aboard for crying out loud.
Come on, Birch, you old raccoon.
Now look, Bo, listen to me for a second.
Come on, doggone it. We wasted enough time. Let's get going.
Listen, Bo. I need you to be quiet for a minute. I need you to hear me, Bo. You don't need me no more. I ain't going.
You ain't what?
I ain't going with you, Bo.
Well, what do you know about that?
It's best I don't.
Just one blame catastrophe after another.
Well, I got another job in mind where the feed's mighty good, and I'll be looking after the cattle. I meant to tell you about it before this.
Birch, I can't believe you do this. You're my sidekick, man.
Well, I ain't joking. I ain't.
I'll be a...
Virgil, I wish you'd go with us. I liked you before I ever liked Bo.
Yeah, Birch. You know Cherie likes you. It just don't make no sense you're not coming.
Well, I'm doing the right thing. I know I am.
Who's gonna look after the cattle?
I ain't. He's every bit as good as I ever was.
Birch. I don't know why you gotta go and pull a stunt like this.
And I get along with you now.
Daggone it, you're my buddy and I ain't letting you go. You're going for Cherie. We want you.
Bo, you can't do it like that. You just can't. If he don't want to go with you, you can't make him.
Cherie, there ain't a reason in the world why I shouldn't go. It's plumb crazy.
Some people have their own reasons, Bo.
Well, I just hate to think of getting along without old Birch.
In a couple of weeks, you'll never even miss me.
Oh, Birch!
Now get along with you now. That bus driver's not gonna wait all
Will
day.
you visit us, Virgil?
I'll be up in the summer.
Where you gonna be, Birch?
I'll write you the address. I don't have time to give it to you right now, but it's a nice place, mighty nice. Now go ahead and get on your bus.
Well, so long, boy.
Bye, baby. Bye.
Come on, Cherie, let's make it fast.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Listen, we've got to close this place up now. Alma and me are going to get any rest. We won't be open again till 8 o'clock when the day girl comes on. Next bus through is Albuquerque, 8:45.
Albuquerque. That's as good a place as any.
Poor Dr. Lyman.
Hey, did you hear what Carl told me about that guy?
No, what is it, Grace?
Well, according to Carl, they run him out of Kansas City.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Carl heard it straight from the detective at the bus terminal.
Well, what did Dr. Lyman do?
Well, lots of old fogies like him just can't let young girls alone. So it's a good thing you didn't meet him in Topeka.
Do you think that he wanted to make love to me?
I don't think he wanted to play hopscotch.
Gee, I must be kind of stupid.
Oh, everyone's got to learn. The next time some guy comes in here getting fresh, you just come tell your Aunt Grace. Now, Monday, for sure, I gotta order some cheese.
I'll remind you, Grace.
Elma, honey, I could just kill Bill Masters for saying anything about Carl and me. I didn't want you to know.
Well, I don't see why I shouldn't know. I don't want to be a baby forever.
Well, sure you don't, but still, you're a kid, and I don't want to go setting no examples or anything. Do you think you could overlook it and not think bad of me?
Sure, Grace.
Because I'm a restless sort of woman. Every so often, I just need to have me a man just to keep myself from getting grouchy.
It's none of my business, Grace. Just think, he won't make love to me.
Now, don't go getting stuck on yourself.
I'm not, Grace. It's just that it's nice to know that someone can feel that way.
Oh, you're not going to have any trouble. Just wait till you get to college and start meeting all those cute boys.
All right, I'll wait.
You can run along now, honey. All I got to do is empty the garbage.
Good night, Grace. I'll see you Monday.
Night.
It was real nice knowing you, Virgil, and I just loved your songs.
Oh, thank you, miss. Good night.
We're closing now, mister.
Is there any place warm I can stay till 8 o'clock?
Now that the police station's closed, I don't know where you could go. Unless you want to take a chance on waking up the man who runs the hotel.
No, I wouldn't want to be in any trouble.
There'll be another bus back through to Kansas City. I can put the sign out and they'll stop.
No, there's no use in going back there.
Well, then I'm sorry, mister. I guess you're just left out in the cold.
Well, that's just what happens to some people.
Go, go, go!